Cold steel Frontier Hawk. That baby has got some power. It can chop, it can slice, it can make feather sticks. I can't tell you how happy I am with this. I use this up at camp to delimb branches when we were cutting pine, and I can't tell you how amazed I was at what I could do with this tool. In fact, I was told by the person that was with me, you can't use that. And I went whack, 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 whack all the way down the tree and just delimbed and delimbed and delimbed all day long with this thing. And it never lost its edge. I cannot tell you how impressed I was with this tomahawk. I just wanted to show you guys. Once I put an edge on this thing, whoo, did some serious damage. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get my fire going, and we're going to make a meal. We got her going now. Now that the fire is roaring, I gotta wait for it to build up some coals and burn down a little bit. So I want to go ahead and show you what we're gonna cook our dinner in tonight. This is one of my rummage sale finds from a while back, and I thought I'd share it with you. This is an old Scout cook set, and I haven't used it for a couple years, so I thought I'd use it tonight and get it out and show it to you. The lid, of course, is I think that's about a 10-inch frying pan, and it's pretty deep. And it comes with a whole bunch of plates, and it's missing some of them. There's 4, 6 plates. A coffee pot. Well, it's actually a pot with a lid, but I think it's part of a coffee pot, but the innards are missing. But it's a cute little pot. The handles for there's only 2 handles. It's an incomplete set. And it's got this pot and the lid, which also acts as a frying pan. And this is all aluminum. It's not stainless, which is probably why I don't use it very often. There we go. It's got this nice big pot, and the big lid for this one also fits this, and it's got the big giant pot here. So that's the set, and I think I paid $2 for the whole set. I think that's a pretty good deal. So tonight we're gonna make a dish that I make with spaghetti squash. I think what we'll use is this pot. Okay, the dish we're making tonight is made with spaghetti squash. And I'm not gonna go through the whole thing of preparing the whole squash on video, because you guys have seen that recently in my video up at camp where I prepared a squash at camp. I'm going to do it the same way. I'm going to use my Coughlin's hatchet. I'm going to chop this in half, scoop off the seeds. And so I'm going to go and scoop out the seeds. And I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll get back to you. Okay guys, all you got to do is quarter or half your squash. Put them in there with about 1 inch or so of water in the bottom, and put the lid on and throw them in the fire. Cook them until the flesh inside the squash is soft. When I get to that point, I'll come back and show you what we're going to do with these. This is totally different than what we did with the other squash. I'm going to make a whole recipe with the spaghetti squash when it's done. So stay with me. Okay guys, we're back. The squash is done. And for those of you that aren't familiar with spaghetti squash, you flesh this a little different than you do regular squash. It's hot. What? Let me get half of it out of here so I can show you. Spaghetti squash, they call it spaghetti squash because it shreds in strings and looks like pasta. Let me zoom in here so you can see. So you use a fork to pull it out. So we're going to make a pasta dish. You go ahead and you just keep pulling with the fork until it's all out. And so when you cook this, you want to cook it kind of al dente. And when you're making this recipe, al dente, you know, not quite done, but almost all the way done. Because we're going to cook it again in the pan here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this all out into the pan, and I'll get right back to you. See how that looks like pasta? Pretty cool, huh? I'll be right back. Okay, there we have our pasta. This is the dish that I was talking about when I said I make a healthy pasta dish that fools the kids. This is the one. That's why I thought I would make it, because several people had asked me about it. This is actually squash, but it looks like pasta. So now, this is how we make it look like a pasta dish. I use these Hunt's diced tomatoes. They're usually seasoned ones. You can get them seasoned with Italian seasoning or whatever. So we're going to go ahead and open this up. And we're going to dump some of those in there. Normally I'd put the whole can in, and I just might do that yet. I usually put minced garlic in here, but I just ran out. So I'm going to put a little bit of garlic in there. And then because I didn't put the seasoned tomatoes in there, I have an Italian pesto. I'm going to put a little bit of that in there. And like I said, guys, you can put this right in your, and this has minced garlic in it, now that I see that. Ooh, it's going to be garlicky. If you put this in your pack ahead of time, you could make this in the woods. It's really easy. You just throw a squash in your pack, in your pot. Yeah, I'm going to put all those tomatoes in there. And just throw everything in your pack. This isn't hard to make at camp. It's not hard to make at all. You just throw everything in your pack, mix it all up. I mean, I'm making this over the fire and on a stump. And then we're going to add a can of chicken. And we're going to make it a chicken pasta dish. Now, because this is just me, I am going to have leftovers for days with this. So now we're going to put this back on the fire so it can warm back up. And then we got one more thing to add at the end. So I'll get right back to you. It's done. Wow, does that smell good. Let me change the camera around and show you guys. There it is. Now let me just show you the final thing that we put on there. I just got done grating it all. Fresh grated Parmesan cheese. Now, there's nothing in there that's unhealthy. Well, except maybe the cheese I just put on. It's a great dish to serve your kids at camp. Spaghetti squash. If you don't want to put the pesto and all that in and waste your time, just buy a can of seasoned diced tomatoes and dump that in there. And you can put whatever you want in there, chicken or shrimp for your protein, and serve it up, and I'll bet you they have no idea that they're not having pasta. Even if they do, I can promise you that they're going to love it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good night. Bye-bye.